This video will show you 11 ways to encourage your employees to speak up every day and at every meeting. If you manage employees, you have the responsibility to create a culture in which your employees are fully participating at all meetings. If you encourage participation, you will improve employee engagement and elevate conversations across the organization and higher levels of insight and impact inside the company. So here are 11 ways that you can implement so that you'll encourage your employees to speak up at all work meetings. Number 1, tell people repeatedly that you want to hear from them. All of them. They need to know that the goal for all meetings is to gather ideas from everyone. So participation is required. They are expected to participate. Dialogue's a priority. So you strongly encourage your employees to speak up with these regular reminders. So let them know that half-baked ideas are encouraged. That alone can encourage your employees to speak up more. Or you can, at online meetings, you don't let people avoid participating. Instead, you encourage responses in the chat box. Another way to encourage your employees to speak up at meetings is number 2, and that is model the behavior you want your people to follow. When employees see you communicating regularly, honestly, and openly, they will feel more comfortable talking about their mistakes or asking any question, no matter how trivial, without fear of judgment or punishment. The third way to encourage your employees to speak up more at meetings is compile ideas and create a formal agenda. So with this idea, before the meeting, you ask everyone to send you their thoughts about what needs to be discussed. The quieter employees will appreciate this step. And then you encourage the meeting and the agenda, and you organize it by spending extra attention on the quiet people's responses so they feel even more included. Now this approach takes a bit more effort on your part, but I've seen it work incredibly well, so I recommend doing it. Now the fourth way to encourage your employees to speak up in meetings is send the agenda ahead of time. Everyone will have a chance to think about the meeting topics ahead of time and actually be more prepared, especially the ones who are more naturally observant and need time to process what they are thinking. Number 5, provide and require pre-read material. Interestingly, both talkers and non-talkers benefit from good pre-reads. That's because these readings help them collect their thoughts outside of the meeting room and come in more informed into the meeting. So you include questions you'd like people to weigh in on during the meeting so that they can be prepared. This is especially effective for introverts because they struggle oftentimes with being put on the spot. Now the 6th way to encourage your employees to speak up at meetings is give them an assignment. Ask everyone to bring their written thoughts to the meeting for the discussion. That way everyone will show up with something to say. And then you have everyone take turns going around the room, sharing their thoughts, which will ensure the quieter people get more airtime. Number 7, conduct round-robin responses to a question. So you put out a question to the group, and then you give each person 2 minutes to share an opinion on the topic. What this does is it gets all participants involved with an equal amount of time. Now you might need to use a timer for those long-winded ones so that they don't go over the allotted time. Number 8, break the team into pairs or small groups. This is a very effective way to discuss issues and report back to the larger group what they learned. And this can be done both in person and online. Number 9, conduct a silent brainstorm before a group discussion. So instead of vocalizing their ideas, ask people to write them down. And then you give people 2 to 3 minutes to record their ideas or thoughts before opening the general discussion. You can even have them write ideas on Post-its that you placed in front of them, and then you gather all those Post-its and you put them on a board in the front of the room. And what that does is it allows everyone to see them, which is a great way of getting everybody's ideas out at once and seen at one time. And the 10th way to encourage your employees to speak up at meetings is actually pull the dominant talkers aside and ask them to speak less. These are the ones who suck up all the oxygen in the room. Tell them that you appreciate their active participation and their enthusiasm. but that you're concerned with making sure everyone's ideas are heard. So you tell the dominant speakers that you want them to wait until you call on them before they speak, to give others a chance to weigh in. And as for the quiet ones, you let them know that you're actually looking forward to hearing from what they have to say more often. And you pull them aside and you tell them that. You encourage them to participate more. And number 11, directly ask people to participate. Everyone at the meeting has valuable things to say. So to encourage participation, you gotta solicit input. And here's how you do that. On the way into the meeting, encourage the quiet or reserved people to participate by stating, I'd like to hear your perspective on these issues today. Brian, I know you have such great things to say about this project. Can I look to you to talk about that today in the meeting? This way, the person will be on notice that you want them to talk. During the meeting, you can solicit input from the quiet people by asking a direct question, such as, Paul, what is your opinion of this situation? So you now have 11 tactics for encouraging your employees to speak up at work meetings. By deploying them regularly, you'll create a work culture that empowers your employees to all speak up at meetings. A good companion and excellent resource is my book, Executive Presence, Step Into Your Power, Convey Confidence, and Lead with Conviction. It will show you how to get your employees to speak up more. And there's an entire chapter dedicated to this, improving this specific area that we spoke about today.